We have one person here, we have a couple people out, maybe they'll come in when it's time, sure. Okay. So welcome to tonight's zoning board meeting. We're going to start out with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Goffstown Zoning Board is an elected board of 5 members and up to 5 alternates appointed by the zoning board. Currently, the board has 5 elected members and 2 alternates. If anyone is interested in serving on the ZBA, please contact the Planning Zoning Office at Town Hall for more information or talk to Jack. The board has posted an agenda for each meeting and intends to follow the items in order. The board will open the public hearing on an application to receive testimony from applicants, abutters, or affected parties and ask questions about the appeal. The public hearing will then be closed and the board will enter into deliberation session to discuss the merits of the appeal. For each application, the board will decide to approve with conditions, deny, or continue the public hearing to a later meeting. You are welcome to watch the deliberations this evening, or you can call zoning department at 603-497-8990, extension 815, to get the results. For an application's request to be approved, there must be an affirmative vote of at least 3 members. An applicant can request a continuance. If there is not, we will be a 5-member board this evening. If you are aggrieved by a decision made by the ZBA tonight, you have the right to appeal to the Superior Court or New Hampshire Housing Appeals Board. However, before appealing, you must request a rehearing with this board to preserve your right to appeal. Rehearing request must be filed within 30 days of the decision and state all reasons why the decision was unlawful or unreasonable. Failure to request a rehearing may forfeit your ability to appeal. Okay, I'd like to do the introductions. Jack, we'll start with you.
My name is Jack Shepard, Building Inspector, Code Enforcement and Zoning.
John Beliveau, member.
Leonard Stewart, member.
Denise Langley, Board Chair.
Jason Cody, Vice Chair.
Krista Dawes, alternate.
This evening, Kristen, I'd like to have you be a voting member for everything we hear. Okay, the first case, they have extended till the next meeting, so we don't have to deal with that. We're going to start with case number 2.
Denise, I think we probably should
Oh, do the introductions. No, we already did that, yeah.
take a vote on extending it to, it's not automatic.
Oh, it's not automatic when they requested it?
Not
Okay.
automatic, you say
Thank
we
you.
make a motion.
Okay, yeah. Do I have a motion to extend?
I'll motion
Vince.
to extend.
Yeah, I'll second. Well, I'll let Kristen second.
Yeah, you get to it. Okay.
Yes.
Any discussion regarding that?
That'll be for the meeting on August 5th.
Okay. For the applicant, Vincent, okay, Iacosi and Ernest Tebow. Any comments?
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. We're going to extend till the next meeting. Okay, so the first case we're going to hear is Lisa Mazzini and Shelby Brown. Owners and applicants are seeking a variance to allow for the construction of a 14 by 24 carport that will be attached to the existing home. That will be approximately 2 feet from the side property line, whereas 15 feet setback is required per section 4.3, Table of Dimensional Regulations of the Goffstown Zoning Ordinance. The property is located at 446 Elm Street, map 5, lot 24-1-3, zoned residential 1. Let's see here.
I'm Lisa.
Lisa,
Yes.
would you like to come up, take a seat, explain what you're looking for?
I'll make a motion for no regional impact.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, no regional impact. Hi.
Hi. So yeah, we are kind of limited in what we can structurally do based on our property lines. So really on either side of the house, we would encroach on that, on the ordinance. essentially. And so we're looking to have it off of our great room. It's far enough back from the road and from our easement, but we're encroaching on our neighbor's property line, so. We just don't have the width. We have the length in our property, we just don't have the
Right,
width,
okay.
essentially.
When you say encroaching on the property line, you just get close to
Yes,
it, you know?
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Just make sure we're clear on that.
Yep.
Okay. Does the board, anybody have any questions? Lisa?
I have a question. Do you know, is the, within 2 feet, is that measured, like, you know where exactly the property line is? Was it surveyed or?
So we didn't have it surveyed, so we have that plot line, and then we have essentially, since we moved in 13 years ago, there's essentially trees that are lining the property line, so we just went off of the center of those trees. And our neighbors have an existing fence. Well, they had a fence and then they had it redone, so we're going off of what, those are in line with the trees, so we went off theirs, assuming that they had a permit from whenever that was put in.
Any other questions?
Actually, just one question, this is probably more for Jack than that. You say carport will be attached
Yes, sir.
to the home. Does current code allow attachment to structures, Jack?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, that was a better question.
So Jack, the abutter that did do an addition, how long ago was that? Would they have a survey plan?
I believe they would have a certified foundation plan, which is part of the survey.
Yeah. I mean, this is so close to the property line, we need to make sure
Yeah.
it's not crossing the line.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's still, so the posts would be on our driveway. So our driveway extends to that point, that's essentially where it would end, so. Which is paved.
You'd be surprised.
Don't, trust me.
So we, you know,
I've
for
seen
us
lots of things already.
to approve something that it's that close, that line would definitely need to be, I mean, I would think it needs to be delineated somehow.
I was wondering if the driveway was actually on the line.
These aren't super
They're
accurate.
not
Those are
accurate.
not accurate at all. I mean,
I have a question. I was just wondering, I haven't seen any drawings on the post support for the carport. Is it just gonna be on piers yet?
I believe,
Sonotubes?
sonotubes, 12-inch sonotubes.
He's talking about they drill down and put it in.
Or you can put it on the piers, on the techno post.
It's a great question.
Just,
He went for the permit, and then we found out that we had to have the variance, so he spoke with you, I don't know what the exact
Yeah, I
product
believe-
is.
I believe we did say, oh, yes. Yard?
No, it was, it'll come to me,
It's okay.
yeah.
But yeah, they'd have to be drilled down and torqued. They were Goliath
Mhm,
posts.
mhm.
Is what they were.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So they weren't P3s, they were the next stage up. So if I'm not mistaken, they said I need the total specs on
Okay.
okay, which I think is getting me, and I don't see a big problem. I think it would be just important that we make a condition of approval that the property line is verified before anything is, allowed to go into the ground.
Yep,
And not requiring a full surveyed plan or anything, but referencing whatever plans, stuff is available in town files, just to verify where the line is.
okay. I know when I had first called, they had looked, because there was the great room was an addition to our house done many years ago, but I think she pulled it up and it didn't have any specific plot lines associated with it at that time, so.
Well, I believe in looking at the paperwork on it, that
Yeah.
those homes were also an open space
Yes.
development
Yes,
back in the 80s because of the common driveway,
yes.
so
1985.
Mhm.
Yes. Those are surveyors.
Okay, any further questions for the applicant? Okay, anybody in the public have anything to say? Okay, so we're going to close the public hearing and we're going to talk
Okay,
and discuss this.
great.
come on now, I'm not supposed to talk, I'm the chair. You guys are accustomed to me.
There's a line there, Denise, but we're in a public meeting.
Yeah.
My biggest focus was for support and foundation, the digging and being 2 feet to the property line. You might get into the butters, you know what I mean? That was my concern, being that close.
Okay,
Wondering what, you know, if it's gonna be just drilled in and but they can do it without,
valid point.
yes, that was my biggest concern.
I believe she also said it's going to go into the existing driveway, so again,
Yeah,
you want to verify that the existing driveway
yep.
is within the property line. That's really my only concern, is just verifying where that line is.
Jason?
I share the same concerns that were already expressed.
You might, I mean, just because it's in the driveway still does not guarantee it's on their property. I have seen people's driveways be moved because, you know, years ago they didn't put it some in the right spot. I'd want some type of verification. I think that should be required. Because it's close, 2 feet's close. That's just my input, you know. Anybody ready to make a motion?
All right, I'll motion that the variance be approved with the condition that the property line be verified by whatever means available. I'm not gonna ask for a full survey, but, you know, a records check or just determining exactly where that line falls is the only condition I would put on approval.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, ready to vote? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. 5-0. You have your variance, so, but you will have to talk to Jack and how you can go about finding out what the, just to make sure that that's your property line. No, there might be a marking, something there. Could be on the other side. If it's on the other side, or somebody on the other side of you has done one, you can pull a line from, that would be enough. Doesn't, right, I mean, that would tie it together.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And Jack is a fountain of knowledge on those things.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay, the next project is going to be Hemley Investment LLC. So before I continue, I want everybody on this board to be aware that at the last time that this was brought to the board, I did recuse myself. I am in a butter. I have no financial gain in this project. I feel that I can be very objective, but I want to do a roll call with the board on how they feel, and if anybody thinks that I should step off of it. Step, yeah.
No, I'm all set. I'm good.
If I were sitting in the chair, I think I would recuse myself just out of an abundance of caution in the event of anything coming up in the future. But with that, the judgment is finally up to
Okay,
you as to
okay.
what you want to do.
That's fine.
I agree with that.
You do.
It's your call.
Okay.
So, is this a vote, like, would we be voting or looking at just continuing what was previously done and moving it forward? Because I think it's
We're not,
there's no change.
correct, there's no changes. So what they're asking for, because is to be an extension, because after 3 years, it expires, and I'm not gonna get into the reasons why these things happen. Okay, but it does happen.
Right.
So they have to come back and ask for an extension.
I would feel like because it's just an extension of what was previously voted upon, you could stay and but it's ultimately up to you.
So it's a 2-2. I'm very confident I can be objective. You're not going to hear me speak much on this case. Everybody told me it was my choice, so
Yeah.
I'm staying on. Okay, welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Daniel Muller from Cronenberg and Zelinski on behalf of Henley Investments, the record owner of the property and the applicant. We are here for an extension / renewal, depending on how people want to characterize it, of the variance relief previously granted by this board in 2022. Following the grant of that relief, this project went to the Town of Goffstown Planning Board for site plan approval. There was a conditional approval given in October 2023. At this point in time, the approval is still conditional. There is at least one condition that remains to be resolved, and in fact, we are going back to the planning board, I believe next week, to discuss that, or to discuss extending for that. So essentially, what we're looking to do here, because there is a statute out there that basically provides for a 2-year period for variances, during which period you have to exercise that variance. Now, the notion of exercise, to us, we have done that. Now, I understand, I've had some communication with town council on this, and we may have a difference of opinion, but simply for making a record, obviously, in reliance upon that variance, we went to the planning board to the planning board, got the conditional approval. We have since obtained various other governmental approvals. They have engaged in some conveyances pursuant to that approval. I think under the circumstances, and I cite the case that's out of Massachusetts, granted it's not a New Hampshire case, that basically says if you're actively using that to get other approvals to engage in the conveyances, that is enough to say that you're exercising it. And since it was exercised in 2 years, technically no extension or renewal was required from our perspective. To the extent that you feel that an extension or renewal is the more prudent approach in this case and avoid the issue, from our perspective, I put all the arguments that we originally made. In some of those cases, some of the arguments have simply gotten stronger. For example, on substantial justice, the loss at this point in time, since we've engaged in some conveyancing pursuant to this and spent more time and money getting other approvals, obviously the loss to the owner is greater at this point than it was when this was originally granted. Otherwise, again, this project has been before the planning board. The planning board looked at it. It's made sure that the development was done in a safe and attractive manner. That's the whole point of site plan approval. They granted the approval, so they obviously think it satisfies that condition, which would go to both the spirit of the ordinance and the public interest elements. Likewise, having granted site plan approval, it means that they've taken steps to assure that this is not going to adversely impact abutting properties. So once again, for a diminution of value, you have that consideration that has changed, or from my perspective, augmented or gotten better since the original approval. Finally, with respect to hardship, again, all the original things stay into place. The only thing here is that now that you've had the conveyance of property interest pursuant to approvals, if you suddenly lose that, there is at least an arguable taking that's occurred. So for those reasons, we would ask that this board extend or renew this variance for an additional period so that they can finalize their site plan approval, get this final site plan approval, and go from there. If the board has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
My one concern would be, you don't specify a period when you say you'd either like a renewal or an extension.
If it was a renewal, in my view, you get the 2 years because it's a new variance, you get the statutory period. If you want to, I would probably say just to avoid the issue as to, in the, the nicety, is it a renewal, is it an extension, I'd simply ask for the 2-year period, because that's what you get if it was a renewal, which is the, of the two, probably the, at least the most restrictive option out there. So, obviously the notion would be an extension first that didn't expire, but if it did expire, then the renewal, in which case by statute you get the 2 years. So I'd ask for the 2 years that the statute contemplates. I don't anticipate using the 2 years. As I said, there is a condition left that is required to move from conditional approval to final approval at the planning board. That's left.
Your paperwork also mentioned there's action required by the selectmen to complete some of this.
That is the remaining condition. It involves the rail trail and dealings with the Board of Selectmen. That is the last condition on the conditional planning board approval that is left. So that's where you're going to satisfy the last condition on the planning board approval.
You're close enough, you don't think that would take, that's not going to take 2 years to realize?
I would hope that I'm not taking 2 years on that issue. I'm hoping that, and I'm sure my client is hoping that we're not talking about this 2 years down the road, because I'm sure he would like to move on at this point in time. So again, the 2 years is statutory, so that's the reason I will go with the 2 years.
John? Questions, comments? So it states here you're looking for the extension, renewal for the variance, and also to allow a 30-unit condo?
That's what was
Four
approved.
buildings. Okay.
It's the extension because if you remember correctly, was in the CIFC zone. So the variance allowed in part for one of the variances allowed for the multifamily use. There were some setback variances as well for the buildings because of the way you calculate the permissible setback for multifamily dwellings. So those were the 2 variances that were originally granted and that we're essentially looking to extend/renew.
Okay.
No change in any of the number of units?
No, the planning board's approved what that number, that's the planning board approval. So the only way you would get a different number is if you went back to amend that approval, in which case they'd most likely send us back to you to amend your approval. So that would be my guess as to what would happen if you were going to make that sort of change.
Okay, if there's no more questions, I'm going to close the public hearing unless somebody else wants to speak.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, don't everybody talk at once.
I would be fine making a motion to
The question is just what duration are we going to extend it?
I think the standard is probably fine.
So you're talking then
An
two
extension,
2 years or 1?
2.
2.
Okay.
I'm opening to entertaining a reason for 1.
To avoid something that we've run into with past projects, which are extended and extended and extended. But in this case, I was not a fan of this the first time around, but there's no point in attempting to relitigate any of the original material on this. So I would, I'm not going to second, but I I don't object to your motion.
So the one comment I am going to make is, I understand how long it takes to get final approvals through the state. It takes a long time. Maybe something that we may have to consider in the future for 2-year variances because of that.
I'll second your motion.
So the official motion, just for the
Yes, please.
record, would be to approve the request for a time extension or renewal of variance. I consider those synonymous, so. or,
Well, what, Jack, kinda, which would be the preferable way to go, that extension or just renew the variance
I
for
would,
2 years?
I would say renew. I would say renew the extension.
Okay.
I mean, renew the provision for 2 years, and that gives them the option at any point, if the state drags their feet, they can come back for an extension.
So then I'll motion to approve the request for a renewal of variance for those variances previously granted on February the 1st, 2022, to allow proposed multifamily use in the commercial industrial flex zone, CIFZ, and to permit the proposed 30-unit condominium development that will have 4 buildings with less than half the building length to the side of the setbacks, per the stated sections of the Goffstown zoning ordinance, for the period of time of 2 years.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Nay. 4 ayes, 4 approves, 1 nay. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Minutes.
You still need to approve minutes also, right?
I know I missed something. No, I like doing it again. Get these people in and out of here. Do you have a motion for approval of the minutes or discussions with the minutes?
Actually, it's chair, so let one of these ones.
I'll motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain. Okay, motion carries. Anything else that we need to discuss? Okay. So I have one thing, just because I'm hoping maybe summer's going to be a little slow. He thinks I've cursed us.
Yeah, you did.
But every year creeps up, all of a sudden, planning board Charlotte zoning. And this is the time for us to start pulling packets together for you. I can see what I can send you. We'll go to the town, just different hearings that we've had. I don't recall, I have to look at everything, but sometimes it's the same thing over and over and over again, and we're approving it. You know, so sometimes we could give some input to the committee that makes some changes. So, you know, it would be great if we had a slow meeting, that we would all be prepared for that, to discuss it, maybe 15, 20 minutes maybe, if that. So it's just something, if everybody can start thinking about that.
What Denise, I think just if you've got recurrent themes, things that you see keep coming up. I know that one of the biggest problems in the years that I've been on the board here is the planning board would happily go, starting in September, and have little meetings about what's going to be in the zoning amendments for the next March's town meeting. And would anybody from zoning ever be invited to those meetings? No.
I think you
I
should.
will say I was invited last year. They
Yeah.
did invite me.
Yeah, that
And I
was after the first year, when
Yeah.
I walked in on one of them and just kind of stuck my nose in and sat down and stayed. You know, it's one of those things, I think we gotta work hard to make it a practice
do.
going
Right.
forward. You know, they may devise it, but we're the folks that have to enforce it, so.
And
Yeah,
also
I
what
think-
came with the updated law was detached condos are now legal, you know, on a single piece of property with a dwelling.
That's from the state,
That's from the state.
but not from us.
No, not from us.
Well,
no.
guess what? The state overrides, so,
Yeah, it does.
you know,
On that
we're,
one. The more stringent.
The more stringent does.
well, the
Yeah.
more,
Yeah.
the more
Right,
lenient
so-
in this case.
Yeah. but, and then you end up fighting with the courts again, going into,
Okay.
Well-
And what it is, September comes quick.
yes,
Summer flies by,
Oh, yeah.
and we get busy in the fall.
it's July already.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we're usually busy in the fall,
Yeah.
so just something to keep in mind. Kristen, if you have any questions, let me know.
Would alternates go, or I guess for?
Well, what we would
experience,
do,
if
we would do it
anything?
here, we would just talk here. So if there's something that we're like, you know, I don't understand this variance, or it's always coming in and it's not clear,
Yeah,
it's confusing, and there's a lot of different information we can give to them, so.
It would be good if we defined like a standard, like what we just did,
yeah.
a standard time. That kind
Oh, yeah, yeah.
that would
But they're
help out.
asking for the renewal, so that would
Yeah.
be automatic 2 years, right? I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, that might be something to discuss, so that's up to them, but there are jobs you cannot get approved for 2 years,
Oh,
in 2
yeah.
years.
Oh, yeah.
So, you're asking developers, that put aside, other jobs, they could have $500,000 invested. And they're still waiting for the state, and the zoning board could go, yeah, no.
Took me
I mean, that's,
4
you
years
know,
to
that's-
pass. 4
yeah.
years to get one.
And it's not getting
64
easier.
lots, 4 years.
It's not getting easier. So, I mean, that's just something to consider, it's not my decision to make. I just, we have to kind of ebb and flow with what's going on,
Yeah,
in reality, and, a lot of things.
Well, I think we're gonna need to wait and see too. When do most of those state changes, they take effect immediately, 90 days, or?
I believe it's September 1st on the detached.
When are we gonna get all that?
We should have all that information. Governor already signed everything, so we should have all that information probably within the next 30 days.
So I would say September's gonna be a busy month.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
September, October, November, yeah.
When will I be? It's either October or November. I'm gonna be gone for 5 weeks, so.
Can't run away, Denise.
I told you I was gonna be out a little bit, but that's it for now, so. Okay.
Would that be tagged on to it, one of these meetings, or there would be an additional meeting?
It would tag onto one of these meetings. That's what I think we'd all prefer.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm
not
hoping we have a slow meeting. And if it looks like we don't, then we might just say, hey, let's start talking about it like this.
Yeah.
This would have been a good night to dive into it, right?
Yeah.
We'd all be out of here before 8, reasonable. But come September, we're done. I mean,
Oh, yeah, you 11 o'clock was the latest one, right?
yeah.
11:15.
Okay.
There have been later too, Jack.
Oh, I believe it. I
Not since
believe
you've
it.
been here, but there have been.
Yeah, Concord was 12 o'clock one
Boy, some towns are getting hard stops.
night. Yeah.
You could have 10 minutes left to talk, and they're like, yeah.
Yeah, they just introduced that up there.
Okay, so we're still live here, so we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, meeting adjourned. Thank you.